Great morning to y'all. I hope you guys all woke up grateful for your day. I hope that you guys have reminded yourself of all of the things that you have to be grateful for. And I hope you're setting a high vibe. Hope that when you're seeing limits, you're tapping into your creative power. And I hope that when you're seeing obstacles, you're learning about yourself and using it as an opportunity to grow. All right. I hope that you're practicing the pause, honestly, and not reacting to anything. Just respond. All right. Well, this morning, after I walked the dogs, I found a branch on the truck. Well, on my SUV. So I'm not going to be out here too long this morning. Wendell's supposed to join. Hey, morning, Wendell.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. I woke up with a branch on my truck this morning.
A branch?
Yeah, we had a storm here, I guess, and there's a big chunk of a tree that was on my truck.
Really?
Yeah, but that's okay. That's just Mother Nature saying, hey, remember my power.
Mother Nature has a lot to say to us then.
So how you doing?
I'm doing.
Good. Well, I went to the specialist Monday, and
Yeah.
after camera exploration, she wanted to know how did I stop it.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, there's a couple of holes that shouldn't be there, but nothing I can't live with.
Oh, okay.
So
Holes.
and she said there's no sign of any infection there, any remaining there at all. So
That's
that's a
good.
great thing. So I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm cleared. I just got to work on the heart.
Nice. That's good.
So how you doing?
I'm just doing, waiting for my call from work. Still haven't got it yet, so they're still figuring out stuff. But it's funny how they never, like every year they do this, but it's like they don't realize that while they're trying to figure out what to do, time's going by and payments are going through an accounts and stuff. So, other than that, you know, everything's good. I had to part with my caddy because my caddy was just too much work, and also it was gonna cost me way too much money that I don't have. Like, I'm barely, well, I don't want to say that I'm struggling, but you know, it's a little tough at this time. So for me to kind of maintain both, it's kind of it was just too much. So I just decided, you know what, it's better that I'd rather eliminate a couple of headaches because I don't really need any more headaches at this point. So yeah, so if I once I start working and I get back on track, and then if I have like gonna start putting some money away for the summer, and then yeah, and take it from there. So
So is
also,
this work thing been a hiccup for a while? Is this constant setbacks with this thing?
uh, it's hard to say because I understand it's a seasonal job, like, and I enjoy it, and I make good money, so that's why I'm kind of like, you know, I was talking with my friend yesterday, and he was kind of like saying, well, maybe you should switch your job and find something a little bit more stable and permanent. And I'm like, I get what he's saying, but the thing is that with this job, like, I make a lot of money. Like, I don't make, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I could make this amount of money working full time any other place. But at the same token, it's like Calgary, and this wasn't one of the main reasons why I came out here too, was because Calgary has like the highest minimum wage in all of Canada, right? So while everybody else minimum wage is like, I don't know, 11 or 12, or maybe it went up, it's like 12 or 13, and here it's like 14. So with that being said, there's a lot of other jobs that pay well. It's just a matter of what do you want to do, right? So, and then also too, it's because of the experience that I've had with this company, and I've been with them for so long now. Like, I don't know if it's just, you know, the universe telling me, okay, like, now you've attained all this experience, like, sit down and look at your experience, and you know that I figure out something, or maybe it gives me it's a blessing and a curse in a sense because now it gives me time to kind of really like break down my life coaching as well too, right? Because I mean I've been doing it a little bit off and on here and there, and now that I've been having all this time, now I'm starting to concentrate a little bit more on it, obviously, right?
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah, so I don't know, so it's kind of like I don't know. I think it's kind of. I think I should be really looking at my skill set and stuff because I can't really apply for unemployment because
Morning, Trish.
yeah. So I can't really apply to unemployment because like I already like my employment already ran out because I was using it for the past like 2 years.
Do you
So
know what the best way is to reassess your skills?
the best way. What do you mean?
Best way to reassess your skills, because you said right now you wanted to take a look at what skills you've acquired. Revamp your CV. That's going to show you what skills you've acquired since the last time, and that may change everything for you when you see it like that in front of you.
No, you're right. You're right. Because I mean, I have to revamp it anyways. Because yeah, because I think the last job I have on it was before even I did my before I was
Because
working with this company.
because honestly, this is what happened to me. I have my job waiting for me to go back to as an
Mm-hmm.
Amazon fulfillment agent. Like I've got my job, my 10-hour a day shift, full time, whatever, full benefits, the whole works, waiting for me. But since I've been off, and since with all of my setbacks, and I just revamped my CV, I'm kind of going, holy shit, I'm not that person anymore. I don't know if that fits for me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not allowed
Yeah.
to go back to work yet. I got a couple of months, but still, I'm kind of going, that was who I was then, okay? But today, as of today, I don't know. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So
Yeah.
I'm reassessing too. And
Yeah.
we have to do that sometimes.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because like in your situation is a perfect example because when you go through stuff like that, at first you're thinking, oh well, I have a debilitation, so I'm just gonna take it easy and I'm just gonna take this time to rehabilitate or whatever, and then I'll go back to work. Whereas sometimes that actually happens for you to be like, hey, that could be energies telling you, hey, been doing this job for a long time and look at what it's brought you to. Maybe you want to double check what it is that you're doing, or maybe you know what, if you open your eyes now and look at something, you might see an opportunity that was never there or that you didn't realize that was there because you were too busy into your own job. So I hear what you're saying. I totally hear what you're saying. And me personally,
Well, well, I'll
I
tell
like
you
to.
something. I thought I gave up writing, but I have another book in the works.
Oh, that's good.
I have
That's good.
another book in the works, so I don't know.
Very good. Good stuff. But yeah, I think like I think what I'm gonna do actually today is I'm gonna do that, just that. I'm gonna work on my resume. I'm gonna look on Indeed and stuff because Indeed usually has like really good jobs. Like I usually get a lot of jobs off of Indeed, or at least a lot of feedback from Indeed too. So,
Because now you've been trained as a trainer, right? So that makes you more valuable to any company.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This is what I'm saying. Like I could probably look now into instruction of other things, like or other jobs things. Like just go in as a trainer. You know.
You could teach safety at a real high rate, I'm sure, in any
Yeah,
field now.
yeah,
It's just a matter of where do you exactly what you know what I mean? Because I
yeah.
know that you will get your worth. You will,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're looking for and whatever rate you want, you will get it. You'll get it.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm confident. I'm not.
So everything else, how you coping with everything else?
Well, my dad's getting a little bit better, just a little bit, but at least it's progress. It's better than it getting worse, so that's good. I'm still kind of like up in the air with this, living situation, but I don't know. It's like I think I might, because the things I have an open lease, right? So, and when I first moved in, the guy was telling me, "Oh, well, I hope you can stay here as long as you can," you know. But I'm paying 850 for the whole basement, which, eh, I mean, it's a good deal. I'm not complaining about it. It's a good deal because I have two bedrooms. I have like a full, living room, kitchen, bathroom. And then I have access to the laundry room, which is like the next the next room over. And then the only thing I just don't have is a garage. But other than that, like, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that, if I can get another job, or if they call me like within the next week, because after this week, if I don't hear from them, then I'm gonna be behind. That's a guarantee. And then gonna be playing catch up again, and then Christmas is coming up, and part of the year that I hate the most. You know, well, I mean, all I really do is I just gotta send my mom a little bit of money, send my sister, my brother a little bit of money, I send my kids a little bit of money, and then I just gotta chill by myself because I'm not really into the
I'm
gifting.
thankful for that. We don't do gifts at Christmas. We don't
Yeah,
do that stuff. We
that's too
get
material.
together, we have a meal together, but the gift thing we don't do. We don't do that stuff.
Yeah.
We,
So
you know.
so yeah, so
So what do you want to talk about this morning, other than how we're doing?
um well, I was kind of trying to get somebody, like I had this guy in mind for this for the event and stuff. Actually, I'm going to talk to him today because I think I tried messaging him a couple times there yesterday and I wasn't really getting him, but um yeah, so I'm going to work on that today also to try to get him and see if he wants to be down with this event that we're going to do, right? So, but I think there was something I was thinking about yesterday, and I should have wrote it down, I guess, because like it's kind of like like out of my head right now. But, so I think we spoke about like who lies more or lying, like men and women, right?
I didn't hear you.
I said we
Spoke
I
about
think we
what?
spoke. I think we spoke about lying, like men lying, like being deceitful, or women being deceitful.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So,
but you could talk about it if you want. I
well,
don't think we addressed it like that.
no, I don't think we did either.
Are we coming from it at a point of lying to themselves or lying to others?
Well, actually, it was just something that I saw very interesting. So I was just doing like a little Google stuff here, and I saw that it said here that men are twice more likely as women to consider themselves to be good at lying and getting um getting what? Getting away with it. Sorry. I'm gonna read my own handwriting. Men lie more than their partners based on stories. 1 in 10. That's what they say here. No, sorry. 1 in 10 do it regularly, while a third of them admit that they lie. What the hell's wrong with my eyes today? That the lies that they tell are serious ones, and then a quarter of the population don't trust their partner. So that's what I wanted to get. So a quarter of the population does not trust their partner.
Yeah.
That's that's like saying 25% of like what, a billion people or billion people.
Well, I think that a lot of people, men or women, because, I don't want to male bash here, because you know what? There's a lot of women too that I hear that talk pure shit that can't be even real with themselves. So it's like there's a lot of people lying to themselves first
Oh
and
yeah,
then lying to others. And I can't just say it's men. Yeah, men, but men always feel that they have to come up with something to avoid a reaction from their girlfriends. So if their girlfriends were more understanding, maybe, or compassionate, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, or didn't fly off, like, hey,
yeah.
there's
I
all
know you're.
different types of
Oh yeah, yeah,
circumstances
yeah.
that affect that.
Yeah, you're right on point because I know for a fact that I remember there was this guy like he used to be my best friend and then we he just did something that was totally disrespectful, so I kind of cut him off, right? So anyways, long story short, so
Thanks,
he told
Trish.
me he told me he told me some stuff about, he said to me like, oh, your ex-girlfriend is coming at me, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. So then I go to my ex-girlfriend and I'm like, so like, why are you going after my best friend, And she was like, oh well, he's I'm not going after him. He's the one that's coming at me. And I was just like, okay. So I'm trying to decipher like, which one is telling the truth, right? So I start talking to him and I'm just like, okay, well, she's saying that it's you. And then he's like, oh no, bro, I'll never do that. Da, 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 da. Then I go back to her and I'm like, well, he's saying that, he'll never do that. Like he said, and he's saying that it's you. So then she gives me this example and I'm just like, okay. And like, she's the mother of my kids. So I know her, right? So I'm just like, yeah, you're right. I don't think you would do something like that. So then when I go back to him now, he starts acting a little bit funny. So then I'm like, why are you acting funny if your word is bond, right? And then he was just like, oh, I swear to you, I swear on my kid's head. I'm like, why would you swear on your kid's head about something like that? So then me and him, we stopped talking. So I'm just giving an example just to say that, you know, like lies are very deceiving, right? Which is why they're lies. But I don't think it has to do with, you know, women and men lying more about certain things. Like you said, some guys will say something like if they're in a situation where they know that, oh, if I tell my girl this, she's gonna react this way, and then I have to deal with this and I have to cope with this, and oh, you know what? I'm just gonna tell her something else. That's the reason why most men lie, I think. Not
Well, I know
the
that's what I was
people per
living with
se.
Earl for a minute, is
Yeah,
he would lie to me because he didn't want to see me fucking lose my shit.
yeah,
But in my head, that was not stuff to lie about.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Oh yeah,
Because
totally.
me, I'm a very truthful person. I don't care
I'm
who
the
is
same.
on the receiving end of it. I don't lie. I don't lie for myself and I don't lie for another, because, hey, the truth sets you free in this world. And you know what? I'm not shackling myself to an ongoing cycle of lies to cover up the first one. I don't do that.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was in a situation and that caused a lot of problems and
Oh yeah.
mistrust and doubt,
Mm-hmm.
because like when I would ask him certain things, okay, well, is there anything else that I better be aware of now while we're dealing with this? He
Yeah,
would say, oh, no, 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 because he wanted to end the conflict.
that's right.
But later on, all kinds of stuff surfaced.
Yeah, eh?
So he was lying to me to avoid a conflict, but lying over nothing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
When
I know
it should have been, he
exactly
should
what
have
you're saying.
just been truthful.
Yeah.
So these little lies that people get caught up in their own beliefs of them, and how, hey, that's terrible. It's sick, twisted shit.
Well, I
That's
think lies are mostly based off of fear too, right? So, like, I'll give you an example. So there was one time I was dating this chick, and she was like, every time when we would hang out, she'd act a little weird, and then her phone would always be going off. So I'm asking her, so I'm analyzing the situation, and I'm saying, you know what? It looks like something's going on here. Like she's either talking to somebody else or somebody is trying to get at her or whatever the case may be, right? So I started asking her these questions, and I'm like, so what's going on? Oh, nothing, nothing, nothing. So then one day, one day, and this is another beautiful thing about lies is that they always, always, always surface. If you pay attention, you'll always catch them,
oh yeah.
right? So I'm like walking with her, and she's like, "Oh, let's go for a walk or something." I'm like, "Okay." So I go for a walk with her, and then I see this guy. And he's looking at us both like, what the fuck, you know? So I'm like, why is this guy? The first, my friend is, why is this guy looking at me like this, you know? And then she was like, oh, hey. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know this guy? Like I'm thinking in my mind, like, oh, wow, this is going on, you know? And then he's like, what's going on? And then she's like, oh, you know, just here. Oh, this is my friend Wendell. Wendell, this is. And then she says his name or whatever. So I'm like, what's up, you know? And then he's like, come. He goes, I need to talk to you for a second. So he pulls her aside, and they're like, rah, 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 like talking, you know. And I'm just standing like, wow. And then I put one and one together, and I'm like, something's going on here. I said, this girl's probably like dating this guy or something. I'm like, oh my god, this is awkward, you know. So then he passes after they start talking, he leaves, and then he's like, well, it was nice meeting you. Good luck with that. And then he walks away, and I was just like, wow. So then she's like laughing, you know, and then I'm like, what was that about? And she's like, oh, she goes, I don't want to get into it. It's a long story, but like, you know, we dated a couple times, and you know, he came to the house, and you know, things happened or whatever. And I told him that we weren't meant for each other, and he's just not getting it. So I'm just like, interesting. I'm like, okay. So when I asked you on the phone, you know, if you because I asked her, I said, so when I asked you on the phone, like, I asked you, like, when was the last time you were with somebody? You told me that it was a long time. And she's like, oh, oh, did I say that? I'm like, yeah, you did say that. And she's like, oh, well, I thought I was clear with you. And, oh, I'm sorry. And I said, no, 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 it's whatever, it's all good. You know? So then I'm like, well, it was nice meeting you. You know, she's like, well, what's going on? And I'm like, well, you know, I said, you know, like you weren't honest with me, and I'm a big person about honesty. So if you're gonna lie to me about something like that, I could just imagine what else you're gonna lie about. So, you know, I just think it's better that we just, you know, go our own ways. And you know, I wish you the best though. I hope everything works out. And she lost it right there. She lost it. She's like, oh, how dare you drop me right here in the middle of the street? And you like just a whole big. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, but you just had a guy come and talk to me. Like, what the hell, you know? Anyway, I give that example just to say that some people are just born to be deceitful, you know? And no matter
Actually,
what,
no, they're programmed to be like that, and they model their parents. So if their parents were liars, so are they, until they can get it right and switch that. Simple.
that's what I mean by being born, coming from their parents, right? So,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it's just like I just really, I mean, I see why, but I don't get the logic. It's like me personally, I'm the type of person that I don't have time for it. So I automatically assume that because I'm a human being and this person's a human being, that they're the same way, right? But it's never the case. Never.
Well, that's it. I'm kind of thankful for embracing who I am at the time of my life that I'm at, because you know what? I've always been a truth teller, but now even more so than ever.
Oh yeah,
You
me
know,
too.
like I can't lie. I can't lie about how I'm feeling. I can't lie about what I'm picking up on. And being an empath, I can definitely tell when somebody else is lying to me. I feel it. Simple.
So how do you?
I
So
feel that negativity coming out of, like, I feel it. So, it's for me to be in a situation where I'm focused, like let's say in my relationship, and there's a lie coming out, I already know it's a lie. And all that does is make me dig deeper and pull the truth out, find the facts of the truth that I'm feeling in the physical world. And here you go. That's what I do. Because half the time, what I'm picking up on, if I don't find the facts and the concrete, pure evidence to show the truth to somebody, they won't believe it anyway.
okay, so how do you deal with, like, let's say, so for example, you're with your partner and you're talking about certain things and you're being as truthful as possible, and he's calling you out as a liar. Like, how do you deal with that?
Oh, first of all, my partner knows I'm not a liar, so he would never
I'm
call me
just
that.
kidding. I'm just an
But
example.
but but look, somebody look, a liar is going to call somebody a liar. A cheater is going to call somebody a cheater. A thief is going to call somebody a thief. You get my drift? So somebody who's calling you a liar, they have to check themselves. Unless you're standing there lying and they're calling you out. But if you know you're not lying, Well, they got a fucking problem, not you. Sorry to put it like that, but that's real. Because you know what? You got to be truthful to yourself first before you can be truthful to anybody else. And I'm a realist. I see shit for what it is. So
Okay.
I don't see things the way I wish it to be, the way I think it to be, the way oh, it could be or should have been or could have been. No, I see it exactly for what it is. So if, my truth is very different from somebody else, but I will speak the truth no matter what it is.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. So my question was, if you reacted like somebody, you're talking to somebody and you're telling them whatever you're saying is 100% truth, and they're replying to you and saying, "No, you're a liar." Like, how do you reply to that? Like, how do you respond to that? How do
Well,
you
I responded to that. The person that's calling you a liar is themselves a liar. That's what I said.
So
Listen,
that's what
nobody,
you would
it's just,
that's what you would say to them is what you're saying.
yes, I would tell them to check themselves because that's not on me. I will be truthful and standing firm in my power. And guess what? If I know I'm being truthful, nobody can tell me otherwise. And if they try to, you keep that. That's not mine, that's you.
Okay. So then if they respond after you say that to say that, oh, you're just saying that to cover up your lie, you're just that's your response to it.
Listen, you know what? That's their own belief systems and programming playing in their own friggin' heads. That's got nothing to do with me. That
Okay.
is on them.
Okay. That's good. Good answer. Conversation.
You know? I like that, what she said. Conversation done then, 100. That's what I'm telling them then. No, but seriously, it's if you know you're being truthful and you feel it in your heart and you're being a loving person and somebody else is coming at you like that, that's not your problem. That's their problem. And you have to call them up. You have to.
Yeah,
Because
I hear
why
you.
should you be receiving of that shit?
That is true. But some people, they say people live a double life, right? So they live a lie, right? And when they're living this lie, you're thinking that they're living the actual truth. It's only after, or after a period of time, after chilling with them for a while, talking to them for a while, and then you start noticing certain things that you're like, oh, what's that? What's going on there? I got to pay a little bit more attention to that. And then
Like Trish
as
said, look at her comment right there. Yep, then they're playing games.
yeah, but like, but what I'm trying to say is that they're not always playing games. What they're doing is they're actually conditioned. Like that's their like you said, their program. You know what I mean? So like now it's about, okay, so now you realize this person is programmed. Now you have to, well, you don't have to deprogram them per se, but you kind of have to break it down to them because sometimes they don't even realize that they're programmed. They just think like, oh, this is just the way it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, but you can't do that for another.
No, you can't.
You can't. You can't. It's all about thyself. And if you understand your own programming and conditioning and can unlearn that and relearn to be an unconditionally loving person, that doesn't mean that you can wake up another to it. That is of one's own spiritual journey, and some will never wake up to their own programming or conditioning, and that is just the way it's going to be. So when you're dealing with people, what you have to ask yourself is this an awakened being or not? Are they awakened that they've been programmed or not? Because then you're going to be able to decipher, do I want to have dealings with this person? Because I know it comes with being asleep.
Oh, of course, of course. Because even like, and this is a thing too, like when I talk to people about like dating and all that kind of stuff, it's the same thing. It's like, you know, I don't date people who aren't woke, So it's like, there's a lot of people that are still sleeping, There's a lot of people that are
Yes.
still out with their eyes closed, and this is what this is all about,
And a lot
So
of the dating, Wendell, is they're practicing for divorce. They're not practicing to date and to love somebody unconditionally. They're practicing divorce. Okay?
yeah, good point. Good point.
Because they already have it in their head that half the time it's not going to work out anyway.
But yeah, that's a negative. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Some people are
So,
just negative.
what did you
Oh,
say? Some people just what?
no, I said some people just have that negative outtake on life sometimes, like they just think like no matter what, like it's like, oh, it's like the little thing happens and they're like, oh, here we go. And then they just like blow it up and then they're like, oh, I'm just going to leave. And you're like, okay, but wait a minute. Why did you let it get to that point? Like all I wanted to do was just ask you a simple question. You turned it around to this total different other direction that I wasn't even going at. And now what, you brought yourself to this point that you have to part, like there's a lot of people that are like that, that are just
They don't
negative,
believe in trying to fix things.
and they just don't. I don't think it's that they believe. I think that they just don't believe in themselves to have the energy to fix things, or
Y-
the intelligence to fix things. They just think that, oh, this is the way it's supposed to be, so I'm just gonna write it out, or I'm just gonna throw in the towel because like I was saying in one of our earlier broadcasts that it's easier for someone to give up in a relationship than it is to say, okay, let's sit down here and work this out. Not a
Yeah,
lot of people do that anymore.
yeah.
They just figure, oh, this is not working, peace out. One and done, right? Or
Well,
run and done.
yeah, and a good way to look at it too, Wendell, is when you're analyzing another person before you even date, you have to ask yourself, are they loving themselves? Are they respecting themselves? Are they caring for themselves? Do they know about self-care? Because a lot of people can be awoke, okay? And woke and
Mhm.
still not loving themselves because they're doing their shadow work or their inner, like, there's a lot of stuff that comes with being woke, okay? So
Oh yeah.
until they've healed a lot of and they've gone through all that grueling inner work, it's really hard to date anybody. Because unless you can wholeheartedly love yourself, you can't love another person. It's impossible.
And it's funny that you're saying that because there was one time, and when I talk to especially mothers, mothers of multiple children, you know, the first thing I ask them is like, okay, so you're a mother of multiple children, what is your time like? And they're like, oh well, you know how a mother, you know how being a mother is. And I said, well, I don't know how being a mother is. I have an idea, a very good idea, but I don't know what it is about being a mother. So you tell me, what's your, what I mean, what's your time kind of like? Oh well, I'm always busy with my kids. And then I'm like, okay, so if you're always busy with your kids and you don't have time to yourself, why are you trying to get into a relationship with somebody? A relationship takes time, which is my point that I was getting at with her, right? And she was kind of like, well, I can make time. And I'm just like, okay. So if you're making time, when you're making time, are you taking away from that time from your kids? Because I don't want to be that responsible person to take away time from your kids. And she's all like, no, 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 no. It's just I can manage my time so that we can spend time together. So I'm like, okay. Now I go for coffee, and every 5 minutes, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's my son. Oh, I'm sorry, it's my son. Oh, I'm sorry, it's my son." So I'm just like, "Yeah, maybe this is not a good idea, you know." And they get offended, but I'm just like, okay, like I have two grown daughters. Like I don't have to always be looking at my phone to make sure, my kids are very independent, and I have to teach them that independence, right? Like sometimes, it's that theory where you got to let the birds out of the nest and just let them, drop them out of the nest, and if they fly, they fly. If they fall, they'll get back up and they'll go back up to the nest, and they're going to try again and again and again and again and again until they come to the realization that, hey, if I just take my wings out and start flapping, then I'm going to start flying, right? So it's kind of like the same thing with, like I feel really bad for single moms because, it's really hard because us guys, when we come into the scene, like not all guys are like this, but the majority of the guys are like this. It's like they don't want to deal with somebody else's, I don't know how to say it, but it's like they don't want to deal with the stresses of another person. So, for example, some guys would just want to go in. They're like, okay, well, I just want to have a good time with her. I'll say what's up to the little man or the little woman or whatever, the kids. Just to acknowledge that I respect their kids, right? But then when they're in the thick of it, and they go to the house and the kid keeps coming downstairs and saying, "Mommy, I need this," or "Mommy, where's this?" and "Mommy, mommy, 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 mommy." The guy's like, ugh, you know, I could like some men are just like, okay, you know what? I think I'm just gonna peace out now because you know we're I feel like we're always getting interrupted and because guys want to be like you know alone with their partner and I get it. Like me personally, if I was dating somebody who had kids and their kid kept coming every freaking 10-15 minutes, you know, about something, then I would be a little bit less like I mean I'm understanding, but I would be a little bit less hesitant to be like, oh, you know what? I, I'd automatically think right away there's some this is probably not going to work out well or might not end well, right? Like I'll give you an example. So
Well, if you want a woman, can I just interject here?
yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
If you want a woman that's totally focused on you, she can't have kids or young children.
Bingo, bingo. And that I've
Okay,
determined that.
because hey, I was a single mom. I know what that's like. I had to be mom and dad for my children.
And I
And
get totally
you
get
know
that.
what? I put myself on the back burner and I didn't even know how to love myself at that point. So I couldn't love another. You know what, honestly, Wendell? It's when I got realigned to my own being that I was able to love my children in a way that I've never loved them in my life. That's how come I understand the difference now about loving wholeheartedly. Because I had kids, yes, I loved them, but I never loved them the way I do now. I didn't know what this kind of love was.
No.
And I didn't, until I could experience the unconditional love that I have for myself now, I couldn't have that for another person.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I
That
could never put myself first before now. And that's why, even with my relationship, yes, it gets tough, but we sit down and we work it out because we love each other,
yeah, that's how it's supposed to go. Of course.
you know? And yeah, it's not easy. Listen, it's imagine having to live with me as I lose it on every fucking thing because I had to wake him up and support his change.
Mm.
Come on. Like, it has not been easy, but sticking it out, if so, you know what I mean? Like, you
No,
got
I
to find
totally.
that person
Oh
that you
yeah,
feel is worth it.
absolutely. But you see, and this is the thing because you know, and I was talking about this before when we talked about dating a while ago, is that you know, it's really hard to see the authenticity of a person because they always want to show their best, right? They always want to come and like somebody's not gonna come and say, "Oh, you know, I burp like in public and I don't give a rat's ass about it," right? Like nobody's gonna say that. You know, you're only gonna see it when it happens because nobody's gonna want to say stuff like that. They just once they feel comfortable with you, then all of a sudden, oh, okay, you know, he's cool. He's been here for like 3 weeks now. He hasn't killed me. He hasn't called me names. He doesn't disrespect me, and he wants to be with me. So now I can be myself, right? So all of a sudden, whoop, the guard goes down, and all of a sudden, all these things start happening, and that's why, as men, we're like, where did that come from? You know, like we don't react to change as well as women do. I think so in a relationship aspect at least, right? So like me personally, if I'm because my expectation is this: when I'm meeting somebody, I'm telling them, okay, I'm not gonna tell them every single thing about me, but I'm gonna tell them what they need to know. This is how I am. This is what I like. This is what I don't. This is what I expect. This is what you should. This is what you're gonna get, and that's it. That's it.
Okay, but that's all based on your past experience.
What do you mean? Based on my
Okay,
past
when you're going forward in a fresh relationship, right? And you want to claim all of these things about yourself. These are things from your past experience that is making you feel that way. But every single person with a unique signature will never make you feel the same way that others made you feel to give you those kind of preconceived notions about what you need.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when I meet somebody, right, I tell them how I am, right? So what I'm telling them how I am, that's not based on what I've been through in the past. It's how I am. It's me,
Yeah, but we
basically.
change every day, Wendell.
I don't change every day.
Yes, you
I
do.
mean, I
You know
change in a
why?
sense.
You know why? Because you experienced yesterday. So you can't remain the same person. It's impossible.
Okay, but the point is when at that moment, when I'm telling them this is the way that I am, this is the way that I am at that moment. If that's
But you see, this is what I mean. This person just might make you feel totally different. What I'm just saying is don't set that path for yourself. If you find somebody that you're really feeling, don't, like, how would I put it? Go into it with an open mind, with no set preconceived notions, no set, just explore. Let it be an adventure. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like we go in with expectations. Expectations lead to disappointments. We go in there believing that we are a certain way based on our life circumstance up until that point. But everything changes in a heartbeat. And you know what? This is how Earl and I have been able to get over a lot of stuff, is not staying stuck in who we thought we were. Because if we do that, we're toast.
Yeah, but that's because
Because
of
we've
your
grown, eh?
but but that's because of your personalities. Your personalities are different. So what you apply to yourself and Earl may not be the same thing that somebody else will apply to their relationship.
No,
Like
but this is the first
uniqueness,
time I've ever tried this, and it's actually working.
but it's uniqueness though.
Yes, but it's also me saying, okay, um, I thought I was like this, but in this relationship, I truly am not. And having to figure out who I am as a person with another individual, a part of my life, and not just me anymore. And that's what has been the biggest change, is me going, okay, I'm no longer that person. Now I've grown so far with it. Now it's no longer just, you know what I mean? It's
No,
really,
I,
it's
I, I get what
difficult
you're
to
saying.
explain.
I get what you're saying. But what I'm trying to say is that I know who I am. So
Oh, for
when I'm
sure.
telling somebody that this is the way that I am, I'm not saying this is the way that I am and oh, I could change and become this person. Like, no, that's not the case. Yes, there is that possibility, but if there is that possibility, then I'm just saying, okay, well, there is that possibility that I could be that person. But don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, of course I'm embracing change and I'm, looking at different ways or different aspects of my own self. And when I do determine what that is, then, you know, then I can say it. But I'm just saying for the moment, I know who I am. I know where I'm at. So I'll say what I have to say. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's true, Carol. It's true. When a person is authentic and true to themselves and happy, everyone can see it, especially children and animals. Yeah, that's very true.
Oh yeah.
And that's
And
why I try to stay authentic and real.
and it's funny because, just to reiterate that last comment is that, I'll go to like, meeting women and stuff with their children and, all the time I have to deal with, the kids are like, oh, I really like Wendell. Wendell seems cool and he's funny and he's this and he's that. And I'm just like, and then when I tell my friends about it, they're like, oh, well, once you get in with the kids, then that means you're good, and I'm just like, okay, but that's not the point, that's not the reason why. It's the same thing with animals, like, I'll go to a chick's house that I met, and then she'll have like a pet, and she's like, are you scared of dogs, or are you scared? I said, no, I'm good. So then the dog will come to me, and I'll just stroke him on his chin there or on his neck, and then all of a sudden, like, every 5 minutes he's coming back and he's trying to jump on me and want to play and this and that. And then they're like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I said, well, no, you don't really have to be sorry. Like, like that's just the way animals are, like that's your pet. So then I actually had one person tell me, she was like, well, I don't think this is going to work out, but I feel bad because, like, my dog goes to the door looking for you, thinking that you're coming to the house. And I'm like, what? Like how do I embrace that? You know what I mean? But either way, it's like I just have respect for people, I have respect for animals, I have respect for all that. So that's why, like, animals see me and they get that spirit from me because I'm a gentle soul. Like I try to be a gentle soul as much as I could be to certain degrees where if I'm upset about something, I don't really like I really don't get like aggressive or violent or anything like that. I don't see the point in it. It's like, why am I gonna get to a point where I'm gonna break something, or say something that I'm gonna regret, or do something that, I'm gonna be embarrassed about, that I have to hear about for the rest of my life. Like, no, so that's why I have more control over my
Oh,
demeanor.
well, you're good because if I gotta say something, if I feel in my heart I gotta say something, I don't give a shit who takes it, how I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Simple. Because my problem is what I'm feeling, and I'm not gonna bottle that in my being for nobody. I will let it out because somebody needs to hear it.
No, 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 and I get it. I'm just like, me personally, I'm just like, okay, if I'm feeling a certain way and I have to say something, how am I gonna say this in a way that it's not gonna hurt people? Like, I think about shit before I say it. Basically, is what
Well,
it is.
guess what? How another takes what I say is not my fucking business. Sorry to say it like that, but sorry. If somebody else chooses to be sad or hurt by what I say, that's on their being, not me. Like, yes, I'm assertive. There's a severity to the fuel that's fueling me, but I don't go intentionally to crumble somebody, but I'll tell you what I think or what I'm feeling. I don't care how another takes it. It's not my problem. I worried about that shit for so long and it made me sick. I don't do that. I don't. Made me sick. Doing that stuff, always worrying about how another's going to take it and putting everybody else before my needs. No, I don't do that anymore. I stand firm with what I need in my life, and that's to be true 100% to myself primarily. And I'll be honest with you, Wendell, today is a new day and I'm a new person. So I don't know who I am today, but I'll figure that out because every day when I wake up and I'm given a new day with the experience of yesterday, no, I'm not that person. So I better figure out who I am today and what I would like my day to be and create me to be who I want to be today. That's,
Okay.
I don't shackle myself to yesterday of any kind. Who I was yesterday remains in yesterday. I take the experience from it and no emotion.
Okay.
But that's how I have to live. If not, I get harnessed and burdened with all kinds of stuff that's not mine to carry. And that's how I stay true to myself.
Yeah. Well,
Because you have to be true to thyself first.
of course, of course.
So with all of these, I get it with all, but I think that the biggest thing for me is figuring out what I truly wanted. And that is really the basis of what has helped me get through a lot of this stuff I've had to live in the past year. Is really being clear about what Toby wants in her life. And that's what's
Yeah.
helped. And it doesn't matter about another person. It doesn't. It's me for the first time in my life. And I have to own that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I can't sit there and lie to myself about it. I have to be real with it all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, clarity's key, I guess. But yeah, the lying, like we said before, it's not just men. There's people who, and you said you're right, it's about fear. They fear the reaction they're going to get and they create it before it happens.
Right.
So that's why people, I encourage you all that are listening, deal with your stuff head on. You don't shy away from anything. Own your power and your greatness and be loving in everything you say and do. It doesn't matter if you're assertive. It doesn't matter if you're real. Own yourself and be true to yourself first.
Honesty is the best policy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I seek out honesty. I really do. And a lot of people don't like it, but I do. I do. I like, if I don't feel like something's, I'll find the truth because the truth is what I need to sit on so I could be firm in my own being,
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
you know? What kind of time do we have, Wendell? What time is it?
Quarter after.
Oh, so we've been on probably, what, 45 minutes now?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to grab the floor? I know that I have a piece of a tree that's on my truck downstairs. So I need to deal with that. I'm waiting for the city to come. And I have a couple of other things I need to do this morning. But I want to give you the floor to kind of wrap up. I'm really happy to see you back out here. It's been a week there. We didn't see each other since last week.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on there and busy and yeah, all that stuff. Also, I wanted to kind of like, because when you're when you're getting up at like 4:45 every morning to go to work, sometimes when you're just like, oh, you know what, I have nothing to do really, so I get to sleep in. Okay, I'll take advantage of that. Don't get that often. So, and also I wanted to kind of get a little bit into resting the head too, because like as you know, like there was a lot of stuff going on there, and yeah. So now I'm just kind of like dealing with it on a positive level. I'm just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it be. Let the energy take care of it, and that's it. Because I can only do so much, right? Like I can only do what I have control over. Anything else that I don't have control over, I'm not gonna kill myself trying to do it, right? I'll just let it. I'll just let whatever will be, basically. So, um, so yeah. So based on what we were saying today, um, um, so yeah, I mean, being deceitful.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
have a great day, Trish. I see you're signing off there. Lots of love. Have a great day. Love you, girl.
Have a good day, Trish.
Sorry, Wendell, keep going.
No, that's fine. So, I think that people are going to be deceitful, right? People are going to they're going to paint pictures, false pictures of who they actually are simply to get your attention. And then once they've got your attention, then slowly the balls start to, dribble away a little bit. And then you're going to actually see the real person. So I'm saying this for those that are watching and are thinking, well, how come I didn't see this, or why wasn't this person being real to me? This is the
Hold on a
actual.
sec. Hold on. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm on live. Give me 5 minutes, whoever's at the door. Yeah, sorry about that.
So yeah, that's probably the city you have to go, or
Yeah, well, they can wait a minute.
So um yeah, so basically, just try to be honest with people, and people will be honest with you to the fullest extent, or to with that expectation. If you notice that somebody is not being honest with you, then obviously then either they're not interested in you, or they don't trust you, or they don't trust themselves. So it's very important that we make sure that whoever we're sharing our information with, whether it be private or public, that whoever this person is will be able to accept that information as the truth. Because if they keep doubting you, and they keep assuming that you're not being truthful to them when you're actually being truthful to them, then that takes away from your energy. So I strongly suggest that you just keep an eye out for these type of people, because there are some people out there that just get entertained by that stuff. So, you know, just be truthful to yourself, be truthful to others, and trust that, you know, if someone is being deceitful to you or in any way, that you address it right away. And if they're giving you a sign that they're being deceitful, then just leave it there. Like, do not continue with that person, because it's not worth it. And that's pretty much the most I can say about that.
All right, Wendell, it was great having a nice morning chat with you. Are you going to be back out tomorrow for the live?
I'll be back tomorrow.
All right, cool. Love and light. I wish you a great day.
Bye. Yeah, you too.
Guys out there, listen, I know that you're all getting the most out of this stuff. So remember, a couple reminders. Be loving in everything that you say and do. You see a limit, get creative. You see an obstacle, it's an opportunity to learn about yourself and grow. Practice the pause. Don't react to things. Okay? Take the time to respond. Get to know yourself. Unlearn the shit that everything that's been installed by everybody else but yourself. Own your power, make your own decisions. Okay? Ask yourself, are these decisions and choices you're making based on programming or based on your heart's desires? All right? Follow your heart in everything you say and do. All right? Guys, you're sourced by an infinite, unconditional love that loves you no matter what. Okay? Or you wouldn't even be here today. Be grateful that you're breathing and you got another day to get it right. Okay? Be loving in everything that you say and do. Wendell, I wish you love and light for your day. Have a great day.
All right.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Love and light. I love you all. Have a great day.
Have a great
Peace.
day. Peace.